Chapter 7, Episode 6. Mary was in the kitchen filling up the dishwasher and humming a song that wasn't a song. The one with no real beginning and no ending. She was looking forward to going home to her daughter. The ladies were in the living room where Rachael told Ruth about the non-event happenings of the day at the Manning Club. She had swum 20 laps after an hour of training with her tennis instructor. She described him in detail like she always did in the company of her women friends. Ruth didn't spend much time in the Manning Club. She didn't have that kind of time. Her days were mostly in an office, traveling to and from the office, and sometimes with her husband and or teenage daughter. The men were in the library with their cigars and Scotch whisky. Gotta give it to those Cubans, they sure do make a great cigar. Silver Snake smiled at his friend and nodded his head. He didn't care much for cigars. He liked to have them for the luxury of them. He never thought to smoke one or even have a glass of Scotch when he was alone. He did like the combination. Good Scotch with a good cigar seemed most civilized. George, I'll give it to you straight. I bought those stinking old towers with the intention of knocking them down. They really are garbage. George was a little surprised. He didn't show it. He started thinking of the agenda. The agenda wasn't top secret, but it was also not public knowledge in the form that the public comprehended. The public knew the bad guy was out there. The military spending made that clear. I have talked to the city officials, the twits, and today I passed it by the mayor. George looked up from his Scotch. Well, George, I see you thinking. I don't hear you. Let's take a walk in the garden, David. Silver Snake smiled. He liked the sound of it already. They took the glasses, cigars, and bottle of Scotch out to the backyard and sat on a bench in the middle of the garden. The sky still had some light from the sun, but it had gone off toward California. What's on the agenda, George? Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, maybe Iran. And how are we going to set the troops into killing mood? George leaned close to David. The next war is the war on terrorism. Silver Snake nodded and thought about Moses. Go on. The plan is to attack the White House, the Pentagon, maybe Langley. And my towers, George, can you include them? How will it help you? Short of a massive attack, we can only cause you havoc. All we need is the illusion of an attack to make it look like it wasn't a demolition. You have been thinking of this for a while. The towers have to come down. I've got some floors ready to blow. The place is half empty. The towers are junk. George thought about the outcome. If the towers fell over, it would be a major disaster. If they were properly demolished, it would look like a disaster, but it would only be the demolition of structures Silver Snake wanted gone so he could build a monument to international big business. It would save him years and billions of dollars. George knew there were some empty floors. The place had lost its zeal. Then the obvious struck him. A terror attack was not a believable terror attack if the buildings were empty. A terrorist didn't attack an office building on a Sunday. But what a spectacle it would be. The world would be in outrage. Who's the enemy, George? Bad guys. They laughed together and looked up into the sky. How are you going to do it? The media will be led to believe that 4 jumbo jets were hijacked by Muslim extremists. Silver Snake laughed. No way could they make that fly. A jumbo jet would make a hell of a mess of the White House. It would tear down a chunk of the Pentagon, but a jumbo jet would do little to his towers. Longgate wasn't laughing. You're serious? Not about the planes. Just that the official story will be planes hijacked by Muslim extremists that hate American freedom. Are you really going to hit the White House? No. That plane will get shot down or some hero on the plane will run into the cockpit and send the plane into a nosedive into the ocean. We'll shoot a missile into the Pentagon, make a little hole, tell people it was a jumbo jet. They'll buy it. They'll believe whatever they are told.